Hello people of the internet, and welcome back to another War Thunder video. Yeah, so, a lot to talk about today. This video is going to be very long and also unscripted. Essentially, it's going to be going over the recent announcement of Rank 8 Aviation and the A-6E tram intruder. There's going to be a lot to discuss. When I first saw the announcement, the impact of what was actually happening didn't really sink into me. Probably because I was playing GTA 5 for the very first time in my life with a bunch of friends, which was an absolute blast, honestly. I saw this, and I thought, oh yeah, it's another premium. Whatever. You know, premiums come and go all the time. This one's ground pounding. And then today, I actually read the news article that Wolfhard put out on it, and I'm concerned, to say the least. It really has taken a day for the impact of what this change actually means to sink in. It has taken a while. So if we're going to look at the intruder real quick, it is a rank 7 premium aircraft, which will be the first, and almost every nation will receive a rank 7 aircraft. What really concerns me about the aircraft is the price point. 70 USD. That is a lot of money. Now, as someone who lives in New Zealand, we don't use USD, and I have absolutely no idea what 70 US dollars will buy in America. So for my Kiwi viewers, I'm going to Google this right now. I'm going to look up 70 USD to NZD. Right, put that up there. That is 109.54 New Zealand dollars with the current exchange rate. Yeah. That is a heck of a lot of money. That is groceries for one person, depending on where you live, for between 1.5 to 2 weeks. To put that into some perspective, if you worked a minimum wage job in New Zealand, right, minimum wage is $21.20 an hour. I'm going to pull out my calculator on my phone to do this. You're not going to see this on the screen. Now, if we take 109.54 and we divide that by 21.20, you'd have to work for 5.2 hours rounded up to actually get that amount of money. That's before tax. After tax, you're looking at about 8 hours of work, right? You're looking at a standard 8-hour day. That is ridiculous, really. You have to spend an entire day's wages after tax for a single vehicle in a single video game. Yeah, you get 50 days of premium and 2,000 Eagles as well, and if you pre-order it, you get some cool titles, woohoo, no one even looks at that stuff. But it just seems a bit much. Because for that money, you could buy a AAA game, or two even, if there was a sale on. You could buy a musical instrument. You could buy, like I said, a week and a half to 2 weeks of groceries for one person. Of course, depending on where you are with the current cost of living in New Zealand, it's awful. But, you know, I'm getting off topic again. You could probably buy a decent hard drive for that price. In fact, I'm going to Google it now. Hard drive for $110. Let's see what I can buy. 2 terabyte portable hard drive. So you can buy an external 2 terabyte hard drive for 99 bucks. That's less than this. You'd still have 20 bucks left over. That is ridiculous. Now look, I can't tell you how to spend your money. At the end of the day, it's your money to decide what to do with. I also technically can't offer you advice because legality of things. So this isn't financial advice. I'm just going to say that to cover my legal grounds. But that is a heck of a lot of money to be spending on a single vehicle. You could probably buy IL-2, and probably 2 or 3 vehicles from IL-2 at that price. I don't actually know. Again, I don't play IL-2. My other issue with it is that it sets the precedence, and it sets the groundwork for more expensive premiums in the future. Because if you can get a $70 premium in the game, and the general reaction I've seen from content creators is people going, that's a bit much, I'm a bit uneasy with that, and that is also my reaction. But I feel like what's going to happen next is that that's going to become the norm, right? They're going to add a bunch of premiums at $70, and then people are going to say, we don't like it, this is pushing it a little bit, you're pushing it. Some content creators will go as far as to say, stop. I would actually go as far as to say, stop, Gaijin, come on, just, half the price of all premiums in the game, you'd still be making a ton of money. In fact, you'd probably be making more, because more people would buy them. If there are any economists watching my videos, feel free to comment on that. I don't take economics. I probably should have. I don't think Gaijin will jump from $70 straight to $100. 100 USD. I don't think Gaijin will do that. I don't think anyone would stand for that big of a jump. And so what they might do is go 70, and then 80, and then 90, and then 100. Right, and take it in little steps, because obviously 70 to 100, that's a huge jump. If you go from 70 to 80, you're pushing the envelope again, and then you go to then you're gonna from 80 to 90, you're pushing it a little bit again, and just a little bit and a little bit and a little bit more, until eventually you just get higher and higher and higher amounts of money that people can spend on vehicles, and I really don't like that. And the other thing I really don't like are the capabilities of the aircraft itself. Now, I don't play ARB very much. I do play it on occasion. I'm partial to a little bit of German MiG-23 gameplay, the 1101. That was part of that event. I'll put it up on screen. That one. I'm partial to a little bit of gameplay in that on occasion. It's kind of fun, you know. Matches last like 3 or 4 minutes because I don't know how to fly the thing. I go and get a couple of kills with the missiles, die, rinse and repeat. I find it quite fun. You know, just turn my brain off and just use the missiles. It's quite fun. The thing is, this is another aircraft that is a ground attack platform. And the problem with ground attack platforms in War Thunder is that ground RB isn't the only game mode that you can play it in. You can play it in air RB. And so Gaijin has to find some way of balancing a ground attack platform in a game mode that it was never designed to fight in. You know, a ground attack aircraft is not designed to fight other aircraft. It's a ground attack aircraft. It's designed to attack ground targets. Hence the name. So Gaijin has to find a way to make a ground attack aircraft competitive in ARB. Now you can't really tweak the statistics of the aircraft's performance. You can't just arbitrarily give it twice as much engine power as it had in real life. That's stupid. So what Gaijin does instead is give it missiles that are pretty potent. So this one's getting AIM-9Ls, which are the missiles that the A-10 gets. All aspect seekers, very, very potent. So you've seen it with the SU-25, right? That thing's at 9.7, and it gets R60Ms, which are found on some top-tier aircraft. Some top-tier aircraft don't even have R60Ms, they just have base R60s and do absolutely fine. You're giving all-aspect missiles to a 9.7 aircraft, and basically the only 2 aircraft I do actually play in War Thunder at these tiers are the German event MiG-23 and also the MiG-19S, which for some reason has gone down to 9.3 in the recent patch. I don't understand what Gaijin's doing with that, but anyway, in the MiG-19S, right, I'm going to be pretty regularly fighting Su-25s, and there's basically nothing I can do against an R60M. Right, I have to somehow use my speed to escape it and hope that they fire it past 3 kilometers. Otherwise, I don't have flares, I can't outturn it, I'm screwed. And if you get a full down tier in that thing, you're going to be fighting 8.7 aircraft that can't even get close to the speed of sound, let alone go supersonic. If you're flying an Su-25 up against a G91, you're in your G91, you're screwed. You don't have flares, you don't... the German premium one does get AIM-9Bs, but you can't counter those missiles at all, and I really dislike that that's how they've chosen to balance it. In my opinion, it's perfectly okay to have bad vehicles in one game mode, but okay in another game mode. I don't really have a problem with that. What I do have a problem with is Gaijin adding very difficult to counter weaponry in order to balance out vehicles. Now, that's the end of that aspect I want to address. Get it? Aspect? Because we're talking about missiles? Yeah, I'll see myself out. I know where the door is, don't worry guys, you don't have to show it to me. Bad jokes aside, what is Gaijin doing with this? I don't like it. The other thing I really don't like is how it's going to be in Ground RB. Because, frankly, that is the game mode that I play the most of. And CAS is a giant issue. Anyone who says CAS isn't an issue and you just shoot it down with AAA, just... what? What? Like, these people clearly haven't had the experience of being in a Flak up against 6 Soviet aircraft at top tier. Sure, you can shoot down 2 of them if your missile actually, you know, proxies on the aircraft, doesn't just phase through it. Sure, you can shoot down 2 of them, but there are still 4 more in the sky. So, you know, yeah, and at low tiers, just lead. Well, leading becomes impractical past 2 kilometers for the majority of low tier AAA. because simply the rounds just don't have the velocity, and it's not like you can give the Whirlwind proxy rounds because that would be stupid. Again. So CAS is a definite problem in Grand RB. And this is just going to exacerbate it. Premium aircraft, premium CAS aircraft especially, are probably my number one or number two pet peeve with War Thunder. You know, the Su-25, that's an absolute menace. You get gigantic frick-off rockets and a rocket ballistics computer, right? You essentially get 6 free kills every single time you spawn in that aircraft. And it's not like it costs an arm and a leg to spawn. The spawn point costs for these CAS aircraft are pretty low. The other thing that I really don't like about it are the 5 laser-guided bombs it's going to get. It's going to get 5 GBU-16 Paveway 2 laser-guided bombs. That essentially means you lock a target using the laser designator. By the way, did I mention it gets thermals? Because it gets thermals as well. So this is essentially going to be a drone, except it can move faster than the freaking snail. It can probably be spawned in for less spawn points than a drone, given how Gaijin seems to balance aircraft. And it will be, much more heavily armed. You get thermal vision, you get a fantastic radar, and you get the heaviest bomb load in the game. And what are you going to be bombing? That's right, tanks that can do literally nothing to counter you. Oh, just use the roof-mounted. Okay, well try shooting an aircraft outside your roof-mounted elevation. Doesn't matter how skilled you are with it, doesn't mean how good your leading is. You physically cannot shoot them down. Like, ooh, just shoot them down with AAA. But they can just overwhelm the AAA. There have been multiple occasions when I've been in my Florakrad. I'll shoot my 2 missiles, kill 2 air targets, only to get killed by a 3rd aircraft or a 4th aircraft. And there's literally nothing I can do. And if you say, oh, okay, well then just spawn in more AAA. The problem is, if you spawn in more AAA, like let's say you spawn in 5 Florakrads to take care of the air threat. Great. Now you're down 5 MBTs that could be pushing onto points, capturing the objective, killing other enemy tanks. And I really dislike that. It's like, you want to counter CAS, so you spawn in AAA. But by spawning in AAA, you take away your ability to fight on the ground battle. Now, this isn't true for all AAA. There are top-tier AAAs that can engage tanks. You've got the anti-DAT shit, also known as the ADATs. In case you didn't realize, yes, I did steal that joke blatantly from the Russian Badger. Fight me on it. I don't actually, I would lose. Now, I don't want to say that Germany suffers, because Germany most certainly does not suffer. If you've seen its 5-3 to 5-7 BR bracket, its 6-7 BR bracket, its 7-3, 7-7, I could go on and on and on. But at top tier, it is not the strongest nation. That is Russia. Anyone who says otherwise hasn't played enough top tier yet. Russia's strength doesn't come from its tanks itself, it comes from the lineup that you can bring. You can just simply outlast all your opponents. You just have so many vehicles, and it's not like the vehicles themselves are bad, they're pretty freaking good, and have some interesting damage models, especially around the ammo carousel. But anyway, that aside, this new premium aircraft, the A-6E Intruder, will be able to carry 5 laser-guided bombs. That's essentially 5 free kills. Point the laser designator at the target you want, lock it, press your bomb drop button, boom, that target is essentially dead, and there's nothing they can do about it. As long as you can still point that laser designator onto the target, they're gone. You can also fly pretty close to the speed of sound. So any AAA that does manage to get a lock on you isn't going to have that lock for very long, because you can just fly over the battlefield and duck behind tree cover. And the other thing that concerns me about this aircraft is the fact that it's the A-6E Intruder. Now, I don't know much about how aircraft models and makes and whatever the hell they're called. I don't know how that stuff works. But I do know that E comes after A in the alphabet, and if this aircraft is named in a logical manner, the A-6E would seem to be a very late model of the A-6 aircraft. And for premium, that does concern me, because what's usually happened in the past is you have things like the A-10 early, for example. Those aircraft will be the early model of the aircraft as a premium, and there'll be a better version in the tech tree. But an A-6E as a premium? What's going to be in the tech tree then? Do they have like an A-6FGH? From what I heard, the E was the last production run of the Intruder. And so either you have an identical aircraft like that in the tech tree, or you have a worse aircraft in the tech tree, which would just be really, really scummy to essentially force players to buy the $70 premium. Again, with that money, you could buy a week and a half to 2 weeks worth of groceries, or you could buy this aircraft. And Gaijin's going to force players to do that if they put a lower model in the tech tree. I really don't like that. They could also just not put it in the tech tree at all and put a different aircraft instead, which I think is probably the more likely route that Gaijin's going to take. But whatever they do, it doesn't sit right with me. The other topic that I wanted to discuss is BR compression. Because if Gaijin's introducing rank 8 aircraft, whatever that means, I have a feeling it's probably going to be the F-16 and other such aircraft, F-15, F-16 aircraft such as that. Maybe not now, but certainly in the future. If Gaijin adds those in, they absolutely have to increase the maximum BR. At the very least to 11.7, 12.0, 12.3, 12.7 ideally. But I don't want an F-16 or an F-15 or whatever they add for rank 8 aircraft. I don't want those vehicles to be fighting 10.3 aircraft in a full down tier. Because that's just seal clubbing. And that would just be absolutely not fair on those players. And it would just ruin the experience for everyone. Because as fun as seal clubbing is, after because at top tier you can't get a full up tier. Just remember that. You only ever fight in down tiers at top tier. Not necessarily full down tiers every time, but certainly down tiers. Typically 0.7 below. So if you're at 11.3, for example, you'd typically be fighting 10.7 aircraft. It's the same in tanks. In tanks, typically I have 11.0. Top tier tanks, I don't put 11.3 aircraft in my lineup. Yes, I can see 11.3 games technically because people can put, the EJ Kai or something in their lineup and then use that in a match, which will take them to 11.3, so they'll only be able to fight 10.3 max down tier. But at 11.0, typically I fight 10.3 to 10.7 as the lowest tanks. Sometimes you do get full down tiers to 10.0, but I personally haven't seen them very much. That is just my experience, of course. Your experience could be different. I'm not making any conclusions from that. But I am saying that you can... The main point of this is that you can only get down tiers at top tier. And if you have a super capable aircraft like an F-15, F-16, again, or whatever the Russian equivalents are, like MiG-29, I think? I don't know. I'm not an aircraft person. But if you have those at a top tier, it's going to be an absolute seal club in a down tier. And it's going to really exacerbate the problem of BR compression. So Gaijin really does need to increase the maximum BR in order to mitigate these results. Now, I hope that they don't do what they did last time, which is they put it up from 11.0 to 11.3 and they said, whoop, we gave you guys what you wanted, we decompressed the BRs, job well done, us, pop the champagne, woohoo, life is great, it will never be a problem again. Yeah, no, that's not how that works. Now, I'm not nearly arrogant enough to believe that I alone have the solution to BR compression, honestly. My solution personally would be to completely restructure the system. Go up in steps of 0.25, starting from 0 and ending at 13. In steps of 0.25 and have a max up tier / down tier be plus minus 0.75. That is just my solution. I don't think that's the optimal solution. It's probably very likely suboptimal. What I think would need to happen to solve BR compression as an issue would be to have Gaijin bring aboard a team of content creators. I probably wouldn't count myself among that because I'm not super experienced. I'd say take a bunch of content creators, like, I don't know, say 100 of them, put them all in a room, sit down, and just have a discussion for a day about potential solutions and have everybody work through it as a good team. That's a very idealized depiction of how that would go. But, you know, it'd be worth a shot. I think that'd be a decent way of solving it. Everyone comes up with a solution that incorporates ideas from everyone that can be the best it can possibly be. And I think that would really improve the game. To sum everything up in this already horrendously long video, what the actual hell is Gaijin doing? Because as a Ground RB player, 5 Paveway 2s certainly hurt to hear. This thing can also carry 13,000 pounds worth of ordnance. What? Or, sorry, 13 1,000 pound bombs, or 28 500 pound bombs. Which is kind of insane. Like, you want to carpet bomb something? Like, boom, you can carpet bomb half a map with that. You can, if you could line it up correctly, you could probably bomb all the way. You could bomb C, B, and then A point, if they were captured by the enemy, in a single run. Right? Use your fast speed, fly low, over the tree lines, maybe kill a helicopter while you're at it on the way out, and then just bugger off back to your airfield, rearm, repair, boom, right back to it. Alternatively, just climb to space and drop laser-guided munitions on helpless targets below. That also works. So I am very concerned with this edition. The price point, the fact that it's a premium, the fact that it's quite a late model as a premium as well, the fact that Gaijin has also said that rank 8 aircraft are coming, the fact that we're probably going to see an increase in BR compression, and the fact that there's pretty much nothing we can do about it, except make a bunch of noise and hope that Gaijin listens. But if there's one thing I've learned about Gaijin, and when it comes to feedback from the community, a lot of the time they just stick their fingers in their ears and go, la 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 la, we can't hear you. Or they'll push out a half-assed fix that solves the problem, solves, of course, in inverted commas, for about a month or two, before they just add another bit of content. Which I would also like to briefly touch on, because what? Like, when was Fire and Ice? Like 2 months ago? And we're already seeing another major update. It really does seem like Gaijin is rushing out these updates. I mean, maybe not rushing per se, but certainly pushing them out very quickly. Like, I've only just come to terms with the fact that, you know, Finland exists in the Swedish territory, and I could grind that if I wanted. There's a lot about this announcement that really does not sit well with me. I thought I just needed to make a video on it, and just, you know, clear the air a bit, clear my own head. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Yes, this video is a bit more serious than what is usually on my channel. I tried to keep most of my content pretty positive, but I couldn't find a positive way to do this because just, like, what? Once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If you guys do have any thoughts on this topic, please do let me know in the comments. I do read all the comments and respond to as many as I can. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, stay salty, my lemons.